Shift our attention to how at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Donald Trump announced his VP pick as JD Vance. The Ohio senator, known for embracing Trump's populist agenda despite past criticism, has full support of his wife. Usha Vance says he proudly accepted the role of Trump's running mate for the 2024 elections. All eyes really have been on the Republican National Convention and the kind of visuals that continue to come in. A big talking point across the world. I want to, without any delay, take in a word from our CNN colleague, Rafael Romo. Rafael, a very good morning to you. You know, it's morning here in India. The Republican National Convention is underway. The bandage on Trump's ear, impossible to miss as he took his place next to his running mate. Tell us a little bit about what are we to expect the next few minutes, and most importantly, when are we to hear from Donald Trump?
Yeah, it's going to be a few days before we can hear from Donald Trump. We saw him for the first time publicly here after that assassination attempt. And what I can tell you is that the Republican Party capitalized on two main factors they had in their favor. Number one, former President Donald Trump waited until the very last minute to announce who his running mate would be, keeping everybody on edge. That meant that the expectations and the speculation was sky high. He ended up choosing JD Vance, as you mentioned before. He's a junior senator who's only 39 years old, who can attract a new generation of voters when both Trump and his political rival, President Joe Biden, are around 80 years old. Number two, Trump decided to show up on the very first night of the convention. Typically, that doesn't happen until the third or last day of the convention. It was clear that after surviving an assassination attempt Saturday, the party is united behind him more than ever. We were here when Trump appeared, and I can tell you this place erupted into tears with people chanting things like "We want Trump" and "USA." It was a great opening for the convention indeed.
Okay. It goes without saying that Trump had the whole crowd captivated. But, you know, if you could quickly tell us a little about JD Vance. He's been his running mate. He's going to be his running mate and vice president if Trump returns to the White House. From once being a Trump critic, how has he become Trump's most trusted defender?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Trump's decision was not necessarily a surprise. For weeks, JD Vance, the junior Republican senator from Ohio, had been considered one of the top contenders for the vice presidential nomination. Vance, who's only 39 years old, as I said before, is a political newcomer elected to the U.S. Senate. Imagine this, only 18 months ago. Since then, he has been one of Donald Trump's closest allies on Capitol Hill and a very loyal defender of his policies. And yes, you're right. When Trump was running for president the first time, Vance said in private that he felt he was like an American Hitler, but he earned Trump's endorsement in the 2022 Ohio Republican Senate primary after a concerted year-long effort by Vance to embrace a new image as a leading MAGA proponent, courting the former president at meetings in Mar-a-Lago and through appearances on right-wing media. So it's a totally different ballgame now.
Okay. Also, Rafael, you know, in a primetime interview, President Biden said he's not changed his mind about remaining in the presidential race, as was being speculated by some. But apprise us a little bit about the mood in the Biden camp. They must be keenly watching what's happening at the RNC.
Oh, you bet, absolutely. And let me tell you, CNN sources say that private efforts to nudge Biden to step aside continue, even when public calls from Democrats asking President Joe Biden to bow out of the presidential race have quieted in recent days. And yes, you're right. Democrats were eagerly watching the Republican convention tonight, focusing their attention on the newest man in the race, the man that we've been talking about before, Senator JD Vance. President Joe Biden called Vance a clone of Trump. It's a bumper sticker message Democrats will continue to use, so that was no accident. While there's no question the race will revolve around Donald Trump, Democrats believe Vance offers significant opportunities for verbal attacks on topics like abortion, his previous criticism of Trump, and more. So the race is set less than 4 months to the general election in November.
Okay, so will, you know, Vance being Donald Trump's choice really change the game further for the Republicans and for the Democrats? Remains to be seen. Rafael Romo, many thanks for joining us. We'll be connecting with you through the course of the day. Heading into a very short break here on CNN News 18 for now. We'll be right back with lots more.